suspect. Welcome back to yet another live broadcast on your favorite football updates channel. It's a beautiful Monday morning, half past the top of the hour. That's 9 a.m. Here down in Kampala, Uganda. And it's a pleasure to be back. And we'll be speaking matters of football, Premier League, some updates. Yesterday, Kylian Mbappe looking sensational as Real Madrid put 3 past Real Oviedo, a result that I believe we must have expected really. If it hadn't happened in that fashion, then we are going to be really, really worried for Real Madrid, because they should be doing better than that. They should be doing better than that. So this beautiful morning, we will be discussing, is Bruno Fernandes to be blamed for Manchester United's dropped points yesterday, or there is more to it? Is it the manager that should be taking the hit for this one, for his team selection? What should be the case really? Then also, more notably, you sort of get to feel that is it old wine in new bottles? This Manchester United side, is that the case? I do not want to think so, but yesterday's display does signal that. It does signal that. Do they need to go back in the transfer market and make more signings and try and improve the squad? Anyways, we'll be discussing that and more. So allow me to have our audience tested and make sure everything does check out before we get into the depth of today's conversation, really, in which we'll also get to speak about the transfer updates that there is from this conversation. Anyways, I think we're good to go. We're good to go in as far as our audience are concerned. So yeah, we're going to be speaking about that. But thank you so much for those of you that managed to catch yesterday's broadcast last night. It was a pleasure having you. We're going to speak about Newcastle versus Liverpool. We did have a glimpse into that yesterday night. Again, for those of you that were part of the broadcast, we had a glimpse into that game that will be coming at St. James's Park tonight at 10 p.m. East African time. Then also, we'll get to speak about the action that will come underway, I think, in the course of the week, possibly on Wednesday and Tuesday and Wednesday, because there's going to be more games, especially in the Carabao Cup, with some of your teams up in action. So the English Football League Cup will be coming in the second round, and Manchester United are expected to be in action. I think that will be on Wednesday when they face off with Grimsby. That's I think a League 2 side. So that action will equally be coming our way, I think, in the coming days. So keep your eyes just peeled to the channel, and we will see. We will see. In fact, I need to confirm the exact date for that Manchester United game against Grimsby, but it should be coming. Otherwise, if yesterday's signs are anything to go by, then I do not know whether Manchester United fans will be feeling positive ahead of those games ahead of that game against Grimsby. Yes, one could argue it's only Grimsby, but you never know. A League 2 side can come and surprise you. That game will come on Wednesday at 10 p.m. East African time. So be sure to look forward to that. It will be away from home. That's for Man United. They will be away to Grimsby. Yeah. But I would love to think it was a very, very fruitful weekend for all of you, depending on what team you pay allegiance to. For some, you may have concerns over the performances of your own teams. I think Chelsea fans have no worries. Manchester City fans have something to ponder about. If you are an Everton fan, you must be feeling quite blessed or brilliant after that Jack Grealish performance when he put up 2 assists to help Everton beat up against Brighton and Hove Albion by 2-0. So, oh, excuse me, sorry, just making sure I do not miss out on any single one of your messages, because I know sometimes messages get filtered out and I miss out on them. So anyways, so where do we start it all? Let's start at Crystal Palace, where they shared the spoils with Nottingham Forest in that 1-1 draw. Ismail Sarr, they're on the target for Crystal Palace in quite spectacular fashion, thanks to to Munoz' goal. Sorry, assist. While I thought before that goal came, Chris Wood missed an opportunity for that ball that was crossed in by Morgan Gibbs White. Maybe he had an opportunity. It was really, really close. Then Calm Hudson-Odoi was the other on target for Nottingham Forest to make sure that they restored parity and walk away with the point from Selhurst Park, with Danny Doye, who did score last weekend, by the way, in that 3-1 victory for Nottingham Forest against Brentford. He turned provider this time around as shared the spoils in a 1-1 draw. So that was a perfect score prediction for us. At Everton, it's called what? It's called the Hills what? I'm here to grasp the name of the Everton Stadium on my fingertips. I'm here to grasp it on my fingertips. So forgive me if I do struggle with it. But yeah, Everton managed to beat Brighton and Hove Albion by 2-0. Goal scored by Ilman Ndiaye as well as James Garner, with Jack Grealish providing both assists in that game quite beautifully. That second goal, man, what a strike that was from James Garner to make sure that Everton goes to a 2-0 victory. Thornbury did start. Keenan Grisbury Hall there, he handled the ball in the area, and Brighton and Hove were awarded the penalty, but Danny Welbeck, who stepped through it, had a poor penalty that was served by Jordan Pickford. It was a bit of a low ball down to the carpets, and once Jordan Pickford went in the right direction, it was bound to end one simple way, and that was in the day with Jordan Pickford, saving that penalty. But I thought overall, Everton looked good. James Tarkowski and Marco Keane in that defense looked solid. Jack O'Brien and James Garner, who did feature at left back. So very, very good performances. Hi Pedri, how are you? You spelled Bruno's name wrong. Wow. I must have been watching. If I'm getting Bruno Fernandes is wrong, Bruno Fernandes' name wrong. What did I? Fernandes, okay. Oh, because I used the Z. No, that's fine. That's fine. If you're writing in American English, predominantly they use the Z more than they use the S. So it depends, but it's all good. Thanks for the correction on that one. But how are you, Pedri? How are you doing? How did you feel about Barcelona's performance, given the fact that they had to come from 2 goals down to win it late, literally, by 3-2? Did you have some concerns after that performance? Do you think that Barcelona need to do better, especially when it comes to defending? Because for me, I always feel that Barcelona want to simply outscore the opponent in that way to win games. When you assess the season on overall, I know there are some games that they win by fine margins where they get to keep clean sheets, but overall, that strategy is one that can come out to burn your fingers eventually. So what were your thoughts on that? It doesn't matter about English in American. It doesn't matter about English in America. It's someone's name. You can't change that. If it's a word, verb, noun, that's fine. But someone's name, you can't change the name. Okay. Thank you for the point of correction on that one. So anyways, give me your assessment and your feelings about Barcelona's game on Saturday there against Levante. Were you impressed? Are you concerned? Do you think there are certain things that you must improve on? Hansi Flick had to make some quick changes that included Dani Olmo to come on to try, which sort of changed the fortunes of Barcelona in that game. And then also yesterday, you can give me your thoughts. I do not know if you managed to catch your rivals game. That's of Real Madrid, where they managed to beat up against Real Oviedo by 3-0. Kylian Mbappe picking a brace in that one. Remember, he also scored a sole goal at the previous weekend, I think, against Osasuna when they won by 0-0. So give me your thoughts about that as well. Of course, Rodrigo Goes started on the bench, came off, was withdrawn, I think after 1 hour or slightly less, and he did seem too happy. I mean, always good players, never happy when they are withdrawn because they always think that they still have something more to give in the game. Then also you look at Vinicius Junior came off the bench, tried to have an impact in the game, which he had. I thought he had the impact in the game because he provided an assist and scored one. Was it providing the assist for Kylian Mbappe's second goal? Was it him that provided that assist? So, overall, I thought Real Madrid looked sharper. What was Vinicius Junior came on, and there's a couple of attempts on goal by Fede Valverde that were just, a couple of inches off. Yeah, Vinicius Junior provided the assist for that second goal before scoring when Brahim Diaz provided the assist for him. And he dived at one instant trying to look for a penalty. I do not know why he keeps doing that. He instead got himself booked there, getting a yellow card unnecessarily, in my opinion. I did not think he needed to do that, by the way. So, yeah, you say it was a scary game for the first half, a very high line. Araujo and Kubasi, a duo doesn't work at all. It's just the attack that saves us all the time. Yes, that's true. I was reading on some comments, I think by Pedri after the game, and yes, I think it was Pedri who was saying that they had the faith. They always have the faith in some of their forward players, especially when a player like Lamine Yamal, they think that he can conjure out something even on a difficult day for them in office. And for me, that's a worry because there's going to come a day when it doesn't work out. When while he is good as he can be, it just does not come off for him. And particularly, oftentimes I do allow myself to make reference to that return leg in the UEFA Champions League, where you had Jan Sommer in the Inter Milan goal being quite definite. And while Lamine Yamal looked sharp, again it just didn't pay off eventually. And that's how Inter Milan managed to get one over Barcelona. So you must be thinking to yourself, it's a bit of a risky one. It was a good game overall. Pedri's beauty was a phenomenal. My boy Pedri, my maestro. I love him. He's gorgeous in his playing. Okay. Then you come back to say what I was hate watching Real Madrid. It feels like they didn't put much effort, but still won. Yes, I think because of what happened last year, we were 4-0 down, and we will win 5-4. Like it's a faith that we have because of the remontada season last season. Okay, I do not know. You see, a remontada is always good, especially in the eyes of the fans who are at the stadium watching or whatever it is that they may be catching the game from. It's always good to see your team, mount a comeback and they successfully get it done. It's always good to watch, but also it's overly risky because you can't always play like that. You can't always play like that. On another given day, you're going to get a team that is very good at game management, and once they go, in the lead, they're going to do that effectively well, and you'll end up losing, and that's points dropped. So for me, I have my concerns over that. But let's see what Hansi Flick will look to correct. In terms of Real Madrid, I thought their first half had little to offer. Of course, that goal coming from Mbappe, but then there was a serious attempt by Fede Valverde. It sort of looked 50-50. It didn't look much different from what we observed of them against Osasuna, and until that, late in the second half when they tried to, push for it. When Vini came on, Brahim Diaz when he came on, and I think was it Alvaro Carreras who got what appeared to be an injury, and he was withdrawn for Fran Garcia, possibly. No. It wasn't him. Yeah, It wasn't him. It was actually Alexander Trent Arnold that came on. By the way, he made a beautiful run in the box, although he wasn't found. Dani Ceballos coming on for Kylian Mbappe. I mean, any team vying to sign Dani Ceballos up until this stage. Anyways, guys, let's retreat back to the Premier League for a moment because Manchester United up against Fulham, that game ending in a 1-1 draw at Craven Cottage, a place where Manchester United had, I think, had won there for the last 8 consecutive fixtures. For me, it's a concern for me. A lot of Manchester United fans are pointing the fingers to Bruno Fernandes because he ought to have tracked back better on Emily Smith-Rowe, who went on to score that goal thanks to Alex Iwobi's assist. But also he did miss a penalty, which I do not know how true it is, but there were some comments alleging that he was pointing blame to the referee for having him miss that penalty. You know, before he takes the penalty, as I think he walks backwards, they sort of shove shoulders or rub shoulders with the referee, and he turns away. He looks at the referee, goes and picks the ball. He says something to the referee before placing the ball back. But I mean, he plays that ball so wide of the mark that people in Madrid, the city, must keep their things out of the open because that ball could drop anytime soon and hit one of your items. And that's how badly he placed it. Bernard Leno, I thought he had some good moments in the game. Matthias Cunha should have fired Manchester United early on into the game in the lead. He had a missed golden opportunity to make that happen. They missed that in the opening 15 minutes or 20 thereabout. United looked good, they looked organized, they looked sharp, but overall the game just did not work out. Bruno Fernandes as a central midfielder playing in that number 8 role is something that I've always criticized. For me, it doesn't work out. It doesn't pay off as it should or as the manager possibly thinks it will. It's one that has been tried one too many times, and while in some few cases it has borne fruit, because you can't really blame him if he managed to score a brace against West Ham United in the Premier League mini series in pre-season, over I think in Atlanta, USA, and then you remember that 4-1 victory against FC Bournemouth. He still played in a similar role and it worked out. But for me, I feel that Bruno Fernandes, he needs to sacrifice Mason Mount. Let Bruno Fernandes play in the 10, the advanced position. Let him play Casemiro alongside Mason Mount, alongside Manuel Ugarte, whichever pairing he may choose for that midfield. But I certainly do not think that Bruno Fernandes in that role is going to work, at least for the foreseeable future. Like I said, in 1, 2, 3 games, it could work here and there, but overall, more needs to be done. You cannot just have averages, a lot of averages, and you think you will be posting the results. So I think he needs to check how he selects his team. Amadou Diallo at right wing back, I mean, that was horrendous. It didn't span off well. Fulham were really, really well grilled. Even the penalty they conceded, for me, I thought they had the Massa felt hard done by. The goal they conceded, of course, it was an own goal by Rodrigo Muniz, because that ball he sent it onto him before it hits the back of the net. Lenny Yoro pushing, I think, Calvin Bassey to try and create room for him. While you do expect that kind of, push, shoving and stuff in the 18 years box, especially when it comes to set pieces, I think he just overdid it. It's not like he protected his space with the arm. He tried to outrightly push, his opponent. And usually that's a free kick. But the referee chose to give it us, to let the goal stand. And then, Fulham go on an electric run. They seem to lose the ball. It's picked up back quickly, and I think by Alex Iwobi, who crosses it for Emile Smith-Rowe to run onto it, and it ends into the back of the net. And that's how Manchester United fell or lost or conceded the equalizing goal, and eventually points were shared. So on Wednesday, they're going to be up against Grimsby in round 2 of the EFL Cup. That's the English Football League Cup. a competition they won back in 2023. Was it 2022? Yeah, 2023. Yes, they won it in 2023 before Liverpool won it in 2024. And last season, we know that it went to Newcastle. So they want to, go on that path to try and claim a domestic cup. And their journey in the Carabao Cup does kick off away with a trip away to Grimsby. So we'll be keeping our eyes peeled to that. So for me, United, they need to self-correct. They need to self-correct. And it has more to do with the manager's selection than I can criticize the players' performances, because it is easy to criticize Amadou Diallo when he's being played out of position. If you miss that, then looking at things out of context. Then we know for a fact that Bruno Fernandes does thrive in a more advanced position. We know that Bruno Fernandes does, love to play in a more advanced position. That's where he thrives. That's where everything clicks for him. And yesterday he did not have that. He did not have that. So, and because he did not have that, you're going to have to reserve. You're going to have to reserve your comments about him. You're going to have to reserve your comments about him in a way. Yes, you will criticize him for not tracking back, but I've already said while he wins back the ball a good bit of times, he's not very, very good with the counter pressing. And for a number 8, you have to be very good defensively and offensively. You must be able to dictate the tempo of the game. You must be able to help your number 6 defend. You must be able to help your strikers and wingers find the ball quickly. In that respect, when it comes to ball distribution, that's why I've said they need a natural number 8, a player like Yuri Tillemans, that kind of player. They need a traditional post scores. You need that kind of player. You need to find a Steven George Gerrard, wherever it is. You need to find yourself a Xavi, wherever it is you may try to find him. So you need that kind of player, really, because their 6s are not that. Because if you had a player like Martin Zubimendi or a Sergio Busquets, in a way, then you could justify not having that kind of number 8. But you do certainly need one, in my opinion. Nonetheless, you remain in pursuit for the Royal Antwerp goalkeeper. That is Lamin Sene. That's you're trying to sign that one. However, in my view is that while the goalkeeping position is good priority, I think that midfield role is an even bigger priority. But let's wait and see. We still have a couple of days, about 6 days left to the transfer window. Let's wait and see. Lots of player movement is expected in the final days of the transfer window. Arsenal outgoings are expected. Manchester United outgoings are expected, as well as possibly some incomings at Manchester City. Gianluigi Donnarumma is expected to join. Personal terms have already been agreed, and there's a proposed fee of under 40 million euros that is being mulled over by the parties involved in PSG and things like that. So then yesterday I told you about Victor Boniface. Victor Boniface failed his medical at AC Milan in a proposed move that collapsed due to a failed medical. Then as of this morning, FC Porto keep talks active for Jakub Kiwior with a new bid set to be sent this week. Arsenal already rejected a bid in July, but Porto will try again. If Zinchenko and Kiwior leave, Arsenal could add one more player. It's only plausible. It's only ideal. It's only right that if they do lose both players, Alexander Zinchenko and Jakub Kiwior, they must add the player. And Jeremy Jacquet is one of their targets there from France. Then also Piero Hincap wants to leave Bayer Leverkusen ahead of the end of the summer window. Premier League clubs are attentive after Tottenham made an inquiry 10 years ago about Piero Hincap. How many players are Bayer Leverkusen going to lose? They've already lost about 5, and we're talking about starters. And that's why, for me, it was no surprise when they lost over the weekend, I think against Hoffenheim by 2-1 at home. Then Tottenham Hotspurs made a bid worth 70 million euros for Nico Paz, and that bid was rejected or was turned down. And Paz wants to stay at Como. And I was seeing some comments from the manager, Francesco Sola Fabregas, saying he's calm about the situation, maybe strong interest for Nico Paz. Real Madrid have a 10 million euro buyback clause in 2026, but will also compensate Como in the future. That's according to Fabrizio Romano. Then Xabi Alonso was speaking about Franco Mastratuano after his making his debut yesterday, and said Franco Mastratuano is our present and future. I like his energy; he's fantastic. Then he also, spoke about Rodrigo Goes, saying Rodrigo played a good game. I liked him, and I'm happy. Rodrigo is one of us. We need all the players this season. Well, the transfer speculation is just not going to go away. So it's going to be a crucial week for Chelsea's pursuit of Xavi Simons. It's going to be a crucial week for Chelsea's pursuit of Armando Garnacho. Igor Tudor still insists that Dusan Vlahovic is focused. He's a Juventus player, and let's see what happens during the week. There's interest for him there's interest for him in some Italian teams. Then quickly also, Tyler Dibling is expected to undergo his medical today at Everton ahead of completing that £42 million move from Southampton. Then Canary Chukwemeka and Aaron Ansley Mino set to join Borussia Dortmund on a permanent deal and a season-long loan, respectively. So those deals are equally happening. So quickly today, like I said, Monday Night Football is going to come underway today for us when Liverpool travel to St. James's Park, a place where they've managed to win 2 of their last 3 visits at St. James's Park, winning by 2-0, 2-1, as well as a 3-0 draw that we did witness last season. Liverpool, in the last 5 meetings between them and Newcastle, have not lost a single game. That's why my prediction is a 2-1 victory for Newcastle, although a part of me thinks that it could go into a 2-0 draw, but without Alexander Isak, who is half, literally the attacking force, literally the attacking threat. When you're missing that kind of player power, I do think Newcastle will continue to struggle for goals, because they have to look at players like Lewis Hall. They have to look at players like Harvey Barnes, players like Anthony Gordon, maybe William Osula. We know that they lost as well Callum Wilson, so they have to rely on the likes of Jacob Murphy to come good. Well, yes, they can give you that, but it may turn out to be a little too much to ask of them in as far as an opponent like Liverpool is concerned. So I do expect a very, very beautiful game. Liverpool have challenges in their right back following injuries to Jeremy Frimpong, and Conor Bradley was feared he could miss this game. But anyway, Alson Ramsey-Baker, Virgil van Dijk, Ibrahim Konate, Joe Gomez, I think should be starting at right back. Then left back, Milos Kakes didn't have a very good game against Bournemouth, but I mean, it's still early. So I do expect him to start in that midfield. My expectations shouldn't differ from seeing Alexis McAllister, Dominic Szoboszlai, and possibly Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, Mo Salah on one side, and then of course on the other side, Cody Gakpo is an expectation for those that I think that will start that game. So yeah, let's see how they will fare. Let's see how they will fare. On the side of Newcastle, like I said, Nick Pope, maybe Nicole Kieran Trippier, then Fabian Schär, Dan Burn, and Tino Livramento. In that back four, Bruno Guimaraes, Sandro Tonali, and Joelinton. In that midfield, Anthony Elanga, Anthony Gordon to play as the false 9, as well as Harvey Barnes. You see, so that's all because of the absence of Alexander Isak, because Harvey Barnes will be starting off the bench with Alexander Isak fitting in there with Anthony Elanga and Anthony Gordon on either side of the pitch. But we'll have to wait and see. But for me, my prediction, like I said, is going to be a 2-1 victory for Liverpool. I expect Liverpool to win. Maybe physically they may not win that midfield battle, but it's one that they can dominate when it comes to possession overall. Then their attacking strength that Florian Wirtz, Mo Salah, Cody Gakpo, and Hugo Ekitike will offer them. Having that target man is very, very crucial. So, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. Otherwise, what's your prediction for that game? And then quickly, the latest from the world of transfer speculation and gossip is Manchester City winger Savinho remains a top target for Tottenham Hotspurs, while with Thomas Frank are keen to sign the 21-year-old Brazilian international for about after missing out on Ebeleche Eze, who joined their rivals in Arsenal. So they've indicated to Manchester City, apparently this is according to TalkSport, that they are willing to pay £60.7 million for Savinho. Then also, we talked about the bid that was turned down for Nico Paz. Manchester City, Arsenal, and Liverpool remain interested in Rodrigo Goes, West Ham, and Brazilian attacking midfielder Lucas Paqueta. West Ham's Lucas Paqueta is also interested in Tottenham Hotspurs. I think, again, there's going to be so many names that we get to keep our eyes on before the transfer window does close down. Then quickly, you get to think that PSG, like I told you, Gianluigi Donnarumma has already agreed to personal terms with Manchester City. That deal is being worked on. And then Monaco want at least 47.5 million pounds to let go of 23-year-old French attacking midfielder Magnus. Then, I mean, we talked about Sene Lamens from Royal Antwerp. Manchester United continue with negotiations. That's according to The Guardian. Graham Potter, for now, apparently is safe. For me, I fear that if results do not go his way, he could be the first manager that gets the sack this season. So, yeah, we'll wait and see. Otherwise, allow me to cut it short here. It's been beautiful having you this Monday morning. I wish you a blessed day, a blessed week ahead. Let's meet again later today. And I'm sure maybe we could get a late afternoon or early evening broadcast, depending on what news may break in the transfer window. I get the feeling that something is going to drop, especially given that we are entering the final 6 days of the transfer window. Otherwise, stay blessed and bye-bye for now.